Yeah. I see we are 14 people now. I'd say we wait another minute or so for people to join. It's early after all. Hey, Erica, I didn't see you yet. Welcome. And
Hey, thanks.
Hi.
Good to be here. It's much earlier for me than it is for you.
That's right. But I had a chat in LinkedIn about Giovanna. Her morning routine is like to get up at 5:30 every day. I have those days, but not for voluntarily.
Kids make those days happen, right?
Cool. All right. It's 5 past the mark, so I think we'll be gearing up and move over to our mural. Maybe some people will join, but then I'll catch them when they come in. First thing, some people ask me whether to record it, and I do it on YouTube if you're okay with that. Just so you know. For me, it's totally fine if you turn off your camera or whatever you do. Normally, if I'm in a real sprint, I require everybody to have their camera on, but well, I think this is a bit different setting. But just so you know. Then I'll ask it once again, who never worked in Mural before? Okay. Okay. Then I'll take a little bit more time to introduce what's going on. If you want, I'll share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. You can also participate and let's say work on our whiteboard, and the Mural is our whiteboard solution. Well, Emilia, if you Miro is really, it's all just the same. It's yeah, same stuff, different name. All right. Okay, for people now joining, I post the link again, and then I'll switch to Mural. I'll share my screen. If you can all go to the coffee corner, there's a coffee machine, and I'll ask you to go there, and start the day with some banter at the coffee machine. Why not? While I share my screen, you post there whatever you want, and maybe you have a good joke, a good story, you post it. I post a little movie of me making coffee. Just go for it. Yeah. You now see my screen. That's for everybody not in the mural. You can totally watch what I'm doing. And if you want to participate, log into the mural. For everybody never worked in Mural, it's really an online distributed whiteboard, and you can do a lot of it. It works really intuitive, but the main feature is sticky notes. And how you do that usually is to double click, and a sticky note appears where you double click. And you can write and put whatever you want. Give it a go at the coffee machine. You cannot break anything. Well, that's the stuff is unlocked. That's unfortunate. I'll go make a quick round locking the items again. Or you know what? There you go. Go. Okay. I think everybody posted some some notes. Somebody is. You can do a lot. We'll get there. You can do a lot of cool things. You can drag files from your computer from the internet. You can paste URLs and it will display it as a preview. Somebody's doing here Instagram URL. That's great. You can at the left side you can find icons which you can put there, like maybe a thumbs up or whatever. There's a huge library of icons, something really useful. And you can also search for online images and post them right away. It's all in the left vertical menu. So I see people, that's one really cool feature of Mural. You allow anonymous access and everybody gets an animal name. So you have your anonymous lobster, anonymous snake, anonymous fish, squid. That's all great. Usually when I'm in sprint, I require people to log in with a real account so I see who is there, and if people have trouble, I can help them out, because this is all a bit, anonymous. I see people getting their way. Looking at everybody in the call, there were quite some people not having used this Mural thing before. I don't want to spend too much time explaining it, but is this good enough for you now to continue? Remember, there's always a backup, just watch my screen. Are you comfortable continuing? Cool, I see many thumbs up. That's cool. Okay, well, that's great. Well, then let's continue. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'll ask you to, just to take your, to take your view here. I'm running this company, One Sprint, and I have this meetup, and I do design sprints and, let's say, product development for Scrum teams. And I had some strange niche market, design sprints for food products. I'm also quite some publishing customers, and also a larger corporation. I had some really good sprints, and the good thing is you can use it for really everything. And of course, I had to take it all remote, like the rest of you, and it worked really well. Even better, I was a bit anxious to go remote because I kind of was afraid you would miss the sprint energy. But one of the comments I consistently get, it works almost better than real life. And some exercises in the sprint, they go faster, they go better. Well, we don't have a choice now, so better we make the best of it. And I'm here to share that with you fellow meetup. But some things are important, and what I learned is this. I will be, before I continue, I will be going through the mural, and I created the outline. If you are lost, there is this uh, 3-bullet list in the top horizontal line, somewhere between the question mark and the timer. If you click on it, an outline appears, and that's really the outline we'll have through this, well, through this meetup. The first one was the coffee machine, and now we'll go to the tech stack, and you can very quickly click on number 2 and go to the tech stack. That's where I'm at. There's another way if you're lost, if you don't know where to look, or what I'm talking about. If you look down, you'll see all the different animals and probably a picture of me. If you click on my photo down, you'll see what I see. So that's a really good way to catch up. If you're lost, just click on my photo and you get the same view as I have. You can try that. If it's not working for you, and I see people are really lost, then I can also ask you to, I can summon everybody so you'll see what I see. I'll drag you to my viewport. I don't think we need that now. I see a lot of anonymous people around. The tech stack that you use if you do remote sprint is really important, because you kind of miss the dynamics of being in a room. So you need to replace that with proper techniques. So what I usually do is use Mural, as we're now with Zoom. That's really the core, but you need more. And what I find out, it's really, really handy to have like a back channel, which I usually use Slack if you have a team. There's some chat going on, just like banter, small talk, but it's also an always on back channel, because you can't spend an entire week in a Zoom call. You don't translate your online in a room sprint just to be, 5 days straight on a Zoom call, because you'll fry everybody's brain. So what you do instead, you make a schedule where you have plenty of breaks, plenty of offline work, or maybe just not work at all. It's a little bit more efficient to do it like this. So there is room in the schedule to, have like larger breaks and really use that. But then it's really handy if you have a back channel open with the team, or maybe with your a co-facilitator. Just share some intro, quick questions, just a way to connect, to keep being connected to the team. I use Slack. Maybe you can use WhatsApp or whatever works for you, but have a back channel. If you use anything else here, feel free to just post it here. It's not about me telling everything that works. If you have suggestions here, put it in. I also really feel the need for easy file sharing, and then for your files, you can do it in Mural, but it will clog up your view if you have like big PDF files or images or reports. Technically, it's possible, but it's not what you want to do. For that, I use Dropbox, where everybody's just on the same folder, and you can drag it in and it gets shared, and you can easy share files. Is there anything you use to make your remote sprints work? Well, let me know. This works for me if there's anything else. what's really essential, I'll ask you, what's really essential if you're doing your remote sprints is to educate your sprinters. Something we didn't do now because we're working in Mural. But can you imagine you doing a sprint, people who feel not confident in these kind of online tools, and they have to, start sprinting, dive deep. They spend energy on the wrong thing. So what I always do, I make sure that people are like really well introduced to the tools and they really know what is expected of them. So the instructions I sent are even, I made them a little bit more clear than it's in real life. And also I ask one-on-one, like, do you understand? Do you have any questions? Like, so the threshold of asking questions is really, really low. And then what I also do, and this is, well, is really well received and also makes that you have time in your sprint just to sprint and not uh, um, all these circumstantial questions about the tooling. I have this, what I call the masterclass of remote workshopping or something. I just give it a nice title, but basically what it is, it's 1 hour with the team, and I go through all basic functionality of Mural. So what you'll see, this is just a screenshot of it. I make sure everybody is logged in, all the ways to navigate. I'll show that. Then I discuss what's the social contract, like how do we behave online, which basically is like turn on your camera and mute if you're, if you don't have anything to say. But how do you create post-its? Just people feel confident, and then um, how can you, drag pictures into a mural? And it's usually a lot of fun, and it really takes the anxiety away. So people just feel confident and they just start focusing on the challenge from day one instead of feeling lost in the tools. This is really something uh, you should do if you're, doing your remote, your remote sprints. Um, if you have any questions, you can, pop in. I really don't intend this to be one way, but what you can also do in the outline, there's number 14. I put this, an area there where you can put your questions on post-its. So if you have any questions, you can either, put them in or make them here in the final questions. And if you put them all here at the end of the meetup, we'll dive into, and I try to get them answered as much as possible. Okay. Then I go to the last important reminder. I'll ask you to join me again. One thing I really miss on the let's say remote way of working is the connection of people, and it's really easy to forget. Just like mechanically do your schedule, and in a way it works, but to keep the connection, keep it a little bit light, keep it fun. And I also I'm a big believer in if people are relaxed, they make better solutions, they can think deeper. So have a good icebreaker, make some jokes, have it like the loose atmosphere as you would normally try to have in a sprint room. And then now I have a question for you. These are some of my icebreakers that I think work really well. One is well, I always start with a coffee corner, and then I invite the team to, post a picture or a GIF describing their mood, and it works really well. Just to start the day, but it's not a real icebreaker. What works really well for me is to draw a selfie, so people get acquainted with the tools and they feel comfortable expressing themselves. There's a Mural template. I can point you to it, but this is like a screenshot from one of my sprints. People, they go all out and they make really nice selfies, right? So they use a combination of icons and the drawing tool in Mural to make selfies. Some work really well. Some are a bit more free form, but all in all, it's really nice to see this evolving, and it's also well received. I can really recommend this as a good icebreaker. Other things I do sometimes is like ask people on the camera to pick a color, like pick something green, and they have to find something green, hold it up to the camera, and you can do it several rounds until everybody runs out of something with the color. Or what's also fun and it's really lightweight is a class photo in Zoom in the gallery view where everybody has to point to their neighbor, and that always is very messy, never works. So it's a lot of fun. So, but that's a good one. Anything you do that works for you, put it here so we can learn, or put it in the Zoom chat and then I can put it here as well. I like the MTV Cribs. I don't know who's putting it in. But yeah, that's it. Everything that kind of connects your personal space to the online space is a really good icebreaker. Yeah, that's what I find. Absolutely. Or the favorite song and make it into a playlist. Yeah, that's a good one as well. Great. Um, find something in your house. Show us. Cool, cool. And yeah. These are good ones. I'll try them out. That's great. Cool. Yeah, find something in your house that which has characters and show it, and then other people can tell the assumption stories about each other. Yeah, that's great. Happy birthday. Yeah. Cool. Enough ideas. If you have any, pop them here. Well, maybe you'll show them later. We don't discard the mural, of course. But looking at the time, I want to continue to really share the first 1 or 2 days of the sprint, and this is really nice. What I have a template running remote design sprints. I basically made it myself, but preparing this meetup, I came across this template. And it's actually the template made by Jake Knapp, the author, the inventor of the design sprint, and Steph Cruchon, who is like one of the early adopters, and I think he's from Swiss. and the template is really well. It's even better than mine. So I thought I just work off this template that we have here to get a bit acquainted, and also to point you towards it if you haven't take a look, because it's really good. It's really everything is well explained. It's all there. I'll show you things I do differently, so you can have a pick and have something that works for you. And really from here, from the big blue box, that's where it started, the set the stage. And that's exactly what you should be doing. If you do this remote sprinting, have it really clear what you're about, because there's some context obviously missing if you're not in the room together. So it's really your sprint brief, which you'll probably create anyway, but you put it here in a really simple basic format, which is great. Also, it has the schedule, the agenda. This is really following the book closely, because obviously it's the sprint from Jake. But feel free to adapt. But having a schedule there really helps your participants. Having an agenda there. Yes, sorry guys. I think the items were unlocked somehow. So I'll make a run and unlocking everything. See if I can do that now, because otherwise we'll kind of run into these. What I do, I always lock them, but that everybody can unlock, not just facilitators. So if you find something that you need to unlock, go for it. But at least now everything is set. So this is it. Well, just, I like to have some things concrete. So what I came up with is this very, very good idea of the new business, what we're going to be used for the sprint brief. So we call this sprint fishy business, and we are in the business of, providing new ways for people to enjoy traditional Dutch seafood. We have very nice seafood like raw herring and fried fish, which is, of course, you can only buy in street stalls, basically. So how we want to provide new ways for people to enjoy that. This is the example I use throughout the exercises. I think it's really appealing, because who doesn't like a good herring? Obviously. Now, if you go to the map, it's like the first bit you do in your sprint is really to unpack and level the knowledge. And what we start with a long-term goal. Really, where do we want to be in this project? Like in 2 years' time from now, where do we want to be? And what I always do here is kind of the first voting round. So if you have any idea, I have some examples, of course, of the fine Dutch seafood. It's on top there. For people who are unaware, this is like you have some herring, some fried fish. This is what you want to do. So if you want to join, let's everybody who wants to join, put in an example of a long-term goal. Where do we want our business to be in 2 years' time? Very optimistic. Yeah, it's just for fun, really. So, you know, round it up, because then that's great. I see some good ones. Yeah. I'm going to start a voting session, and that's typically what you'll do next. Everybody has one vote on like if we have so little options, everybody has one vote, and I require you to only vote on the long-term goal notes you just made. This is one of the features why Mural is such a good option. You can have this voting thing just works really, really well. It should explain itself, but if you have any trouble, I started a voting session. What you can do is just click on, on anything, but I require you just to click on our newly created long-term goals. Which one do you think is best?
Oh, sorry, everyone gets one vote?
Yeah. And if you cast your votes on the wrong thing, if you have press shift, you can retract your vote. And is it clear? You can vote by just clicking the option you think is the best one. I see. Well, we're almost there. There's a couple of votes left. I'm going to end the voting session anyway because it's for demonstration only. And now I end the voting session and everybody gets the result in their screen. And then you can, you know, weed out the good ideas from the not so good. What's really good is obviously the long-term goal that in 2 years' time we want to have a good vegetarian fish replacement. I didn't see that one coming. And then what you do, either you make it really large, or you write it out here. And so this is like the way in Mural to quickly have your voting round. And what you'll see if you run your offline, this will take you much more time. So you win some time here doing the voting online. This is one of the nice things about Mural and the remote sprinting. In a normal sprint, first you do your positive outlook. Where do we want to be in 2 years' time? Well, obviously we want to have a good vegetarian fish replacement. And then you go to, let's say, the pessimistic outlook. What are the obstacles? This will be similar round where you say, okay, obviously we want to have a vegetarian fish replacement. What could go wrong here? And then we think about obstacles achieving our goal. And I can think of maybe people don't like it, or people want the real fish taste. Can it taste just as good? Stuff like that on our goal. And there again, you single out the most riskiest assumptions, the biggest risks, and you take that further. It's really the same way as we did before. looking at the clock, I won't do another voting round here. Maybe if you, if you want to get a little bit more practice, we can do it afterwards. But for now, I want to continue. The next thing is the ask the experts. And this is a really powerful exercise from the sprint. And basically what you do, you appointed some experts, people who are really knowledgeable on your business, and you ask them questions. And what I learned here, what you do in, let's say, real online sprints, everybody in the room, is you have kind of a panel discussion. You have a panel of experts. You take all the experts and you put them at maybe one side of the table and you ask questions. It's kind of an organic talk. That does not work on a remote sprint. It's just too messy and people feel that they cannot discuss, get their point across. It just doesn't work. So what I learned on the remote sprinting, make it short interviews, but do it one-on-one. And maybe even more than a normal sprint, prepare your list of questions. I always make a list of questions on the experts I expect, but then you should really prepare it well, because that's, it's just a little bit harder to get to the bottom of things if you're not in the same room. That's what I feel. And also something I did wrong, or what I improved upon, working in this mural, what I did before is that every participant, all participants worked in the same area, putting in their how might we notes. But what's better to, not have people be distracted by each other, assign everybody a separate area to put their notes. Because, and let me see, this template provides for it. If you zoom out a bit, you'll see what they do. They have, for every participant in the sprint, you can put your name in one of the boxes, and that will be your working area where you put notes. Because what will you do? Sorry, elephant. Stuff is not so it's a bit of a pain. And what will happen? In this case, one interviewer will question the expert, and everybody else will make notes, but not notes what's said, but they will keep their ears open for opportunities. Like somebody say, "Oh, it's really difficult to sell fish online because people are afraid of it will arrive, it will spoil while in delivery." So, for instance, you'll write, "How might we, take away this objection that the fish will always be fresh?" So it's reframing the problems you hear to a possible solution space. And everybody does it for themselves. And one thing I noticed, the online sprints, they tend to be a bit bigger with more participants than if you are in a room. And then you need to apply some extra filtering mechanism. Otherwise, you end up with too many notes, which is just a real pain. We can maybe ask a couple of questions here, and if you want, you can take a space and Is there somebody that wants to play the interviewer's role here? Who normally runs sprints? I see some smiles, but not. Don't be shy. Okay, what I prepared, I have like a standard set of questions that work really well, depending, of course, who's your expert. I put them in the pink, in the pink stickies. And usually questions I ask, depending on the role, like, and of course, what's your challenge? Like, how do users find you? What makes most revenue? What's most profitable for you? Like, also good questions are, what's the market outlook? What have you tried before, and why did that work or not work for you? And who are your competitors, and how and why? And what are your technical limitations?
Art, help me understand. Give me an example of an expert in this fish company context.
Well, the marketing director.
Okay.
Or maybe the CEO, or a supply chain specialist, like oh, we can never do same day deliveries because this or that.
Okay, thanks.
And this is really the way to level the knowledge, because what you usually have, you have all knowledge at the table, but it's not equally dispersed through the team. So asking these questions will allow the marketing manager put like all their knowledge on the table, so everybody knows like what are the marketing concerns or supply chain problems and all that. If you have any questions that really work for you, put them here so we can learn from each other.
So what about, is the problem that we're trying to solve now, how do we define if it's big enough or small enough for a sprint? Have we talked about that yet for this fishy business?
Well, that's a good point. Sorry, what's your Yolanda, sorry. That's a good point. No, we haven't. And that's the thing with the how might we notes. There's an optimum size for them. They can range from we should, make the order button blue, or how can we, make a more attractive order button, or they can like, how might we stop everybody from eating meat? They're two opposites. So they're both not really suitable for a sprint. So there should be something in the middle. You should remind your participants of it. And I have some set of, I have a slide deck normally, and I have some set of examples, like what's the good size of how might we, it takes a bit of practice to get there, because if you go too broad, you'll have really, well, high level generic solutions that will never work, and that's not what you want in a sprint. And if it's too low level, well, you have something really obvious that you could just do. You don't need to spend a sprint on it. So that's a good point. And you should educate the team there. Yeah, I left it out here. Is it good enough for you?
Yeah, because it's something that you need to do before you actually plan in a sprint, right? To have that that already defined, what problem you're solving.
It's and also the sprint brief helps. So what I usually do is I sit with the decider for like a 1 hour talk, or sometimes a little bit longer, and I really ask them like, what's the challenge you want to solve, and then we kind of reassess that in the sprint with the team. But I always make sure we go in the sprint with something, you know, suitable for solving. If it's not, so yeah, we said that beforehand. Yeah.
So the another question, the experts, sorry, my windows are being cleaned, so I can't mute that sound. I don't know if anybody can hear. The experts that you ask, do you ask them to participate at a certain time, one by one, so people can interview them, say, within a certain time box?
What I do in let's say in-person sprints, face-to-face, I ask them I invite them as a panel, and then we ask questions to the panel. That doesn't work in remote sprints. It really doesn't. So what I do now, I invite them as a panel. What we say now, the floor is for Ben, the marketing director, and then we ask the marketing questions, and Ben can then listen in to the other interviews as well, and he can chip in if something pops up. But I really want the interviews to be, let's say, one-on-one. Otherwise, it's too noisy. It just doesn't work on the Zoom calls to have everybody ask questions to everybody. It's a big mess.
Hang on, my doorbell.
It's the window cleaner collecting money. Okay. I see some people, yeah, Attila and Kenny put in some how might we trick kids into liking it? Well, maybe we should work on the wording there, but get Greta Thunberg on board. That's great. Next step you'll do, and this is really tricky also online, because you'll see this template goes with 9 participants, but if you are more, and I run online sprints with I think up to 15 participants, you need to weed out the most the best ones. And a way to do that, if you have too many participants, is first ask people to censor themselves. The how might we is like the more the better, but then I always refer to the long-term goal and the sprint questions and say, okay, what do you think are the best solution directions we can take now, and come up with your best 5, for instance. Already weeds out a lot of junk. And then if you still have a lot, I do like the 1, 2, 4 all or something. Let's say one of the liberating structures where you just say, okay, pair up, discuss together, bring both your 5 notes and combine them. Well, and between the two of you, bring your best 5 between the two of you. And then you can even, if that's not enough, you can even, make 2 pairs of people, and then between the 4 of you, bring your best 5 how might we's, and then you bring them to the organized how might we box. And then this is really the place where you want to have like a limited amount, because here what you'll ask is you'll ask the team to group and prioritize the how might we's. And this is one of the nice things about the remote sprints. In online sprints, it will take like half an hour to do this, but online it goes really fast because everybody can contribute, something that will never happen in a room. But here the grouping, the structuring of the data is really, it's like maybe sometimes done in a minute or so. If you want, we can practice that. If you think, well, this is I get the direction here, we can continue. Do you want to practice this? Then I guess we continue. Yeah. But the learning here, don't take too much, too many notes here. Then there's a really the exercise that I want to point out is the mapping, and this is really important. And there's this novel way of creating a map. This is one of the pain points in online sprinting. If you ask me, the map is really important to let's say have a mental framework, like about to have like a really an understanding on a high level. You know, what's our process, what's our customer journey, and how does that tie together? And then it really makes your challenge a lot clearer if you just see, like, in maybe 10 steps, what's our business about. In the book, there's this idea, you do it with a group starting from a blank canvas. You ask, like, who are the actors and what's the step they go through, and as a facilitator you take a leading role. That does not work online. That's really, it's too abstract, and people are looking to a blank canvas. And you have Steph Cruchon, who's like, he made this he calls this note and map, where everybody creates their own customer journey, and then you combine that to the one ultimate journey. That works okay online. But what I find, it takes a long time to get this done, and it really depends if for your business it's that important that you up the customer journey collectively. I find if you do the note and map, it will take you like well over an hour to you know, to really nail it. And that's time. Well, you have to think if you want to spend it. So what I sometimes do in my sprints is just, well, just to prepare the map. So you go in with an example. Say, well, this is, I think, what I hear. These are the actors. Do you agree on the actors? Do you agree on the steps? And then you'll kind of, you have a starting point of the map, something you'll see here. And then you ask, what can we improve on this map? And that's where it's like best of both worlds. It's fast. You have a well, an accurate map, but it doesn't take so much time. And that's really what I prefer. But of course, it's not really using, well, all brain power in the group. If you have a little bit larger group, there's no way you're going to combine everybody's view into one customer map in a timely manner. It will take you ages, and that's, well, I don't think it's worth it. If you have any other thoughts there, let me know. But for me, the best way is to prepare the map and then discuss your you know, for the customer map, Emilia, you use everybody. Normally, I run sprints with like customer journey experts. What I find, the map you use in a sprint is it's really high level. It's like really high level. There's an example here from the book. It's like a patient and a doctor, they're going into a trial, and it's really like 10 steps. Like you make an appointment, you discuss it with your doctor, you enroll, and you begin therapy. This is like the kind of map you're creating. And if you put customer journey experts there, they of course think on every detail, on all emotions, on every possible side step. It's just too much, and then you have a lot of work trimming it down. Basically, you just use the map, like what area of the business can we do we have most potential fixing our challenge. And what really helps, and that's a good thing, and I also use it in my maps, it's here as well. You can start with the user and then go to the end goal. Like, for instance, we have a user that likes fish. The end goal is to, maybe in our case, eat healthy, and then you work it back. Like, how does he discover our service? How does he learn more about it? How does he start using it? And there are different steps, and it really shapes the way good enough because you'll only use it to pick one of the areas where you want to solve your challenge. Should we be better at being found? Should we be better at onboarding people? Should we be clearer about getting our message across? That's the things that pop up a lot, and that's very much high level detail than your user experts usually draw.
Yeah, hi, this is Emilia. Hi, now I get it. Yeah, you're basically saying that you're looking at a really high level to see where, in which part of the map of how the business or the company to get the job done for the user, which part can you improve? This is how you look. This is how you use the map. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
cool.
that's all it is. And but there's a side catch, of course. Well, that's a pun. If you draw the map like that together, you start thinking about your business and what are we really doing, and that's important bit. So you don't want to miss out on it. But there's no need to go all in detail.
Yeah, cool. Top.
Okay.
Thanks.
Then you have your, this is really the in a classical sprint, it's like the first day. And now we go really, really fast. Usually I do 4-day sprints, and then you maybe do a little bit, you shuffle your schedule. But what's the really important step on a design sprint, either it's the end of the first day or the beginning of the second, it's the sketching. So it's also one of my favorite parts, because you start creating. The first day can be a bit boring because you elaborate on your problems and you share knowledge, and then you can really create. That's really nice. What works really well, I think, is to have like one night in between the unpacking of knowledge and the sketching, because always people, they take a step back and they come with fresh ideas. I find your solutions are usually better when you do sketching on the second day. And the first step in the sketching is the lightning demos, and they're called lightning demos because it's really fast demos. And the advantage of doing this the next day is that you can give people some homework. You say, we now end the session, but tomorrow before we start, can you put in some lightning demos? And the by then you should really know what your challenge is. I think it's like have vegan fish options, or so. And then you can ask people do you know real life examples of other companies, of other products that solved this challenge or a part of this challenge really well? And of course, what this does is it allows you to steal the best ideas, to recombine them into your next big thing. It's like steal like an artist, and all good ideas are never on their own. They build upon earlier innovations. And this is really fun. And this is also one of the treats of doing it online, because it goes so much faster than in real life. And what I say here, use the possibilities that Mural has. So you can, if you go to the fish tails, that's the one I put in this morning. But it's really nice. This is actually what this is a lightning demo of one of my sprints. Actually, I just copy pasted in here. Normally, if you do your in-room lightning demo, people hold up their phones and they show the phone screen or something. But here you can just drop in or copy the URL and you get your previews. You can put the you drag the photos from the website, whatever you want. And it looks really good. You put on some sticky notes. So normally, as a facilitator, you kind of hurry to capture everything that's said. Here, it's all there. So this saves a lot of time, actually. I'm looking at the clock. If you want, you can create a lightning demo yourself. Something fishy. Put it in here. Let's have some fun. The same is here. Everybody has their own box and puts their own lightning demos with their name, so that people, that's something that works really well, so that people don't, not distracted by other people's work. There's no group think, you kill it. So let's take like 2 minutes, find something on, vegan fish and put it in here, and maybe put a sticky note why you think it's such a good idea. There are a couple of ways to get information into your mural. You can just paste the URL, and it will make a really nice preview of the page. You can drag an image. You can copy and paste an image in your mural. You can even drag and drop like PDF files. There are a lot of ways to yeah, I see the sea turtle creating a sticky with a link. That's great, of course. But if you just put the link without creating a sticky, it will give you the preview like this. So just paste the text, the link text. There you go, crab cakes. Jackfruit crab cakes, cool. Cool. Well, let's round this up. If you have put something there, that's great. If you haven't, that's fine as well. I see a lot of delicious food. And this is really the power of using Mural for your lightning demos. It's so fast to have really rich information, which you can share. The next step would be to go around and everybody can explain, like in a 1-minute demo, like, why did you pick it? And it really helps. Like, let me take my example I put in. I then, I give it a title, but also I put a reason why I think it's such a good idea, and then a really good lightning demo would be I put in fishtails. It's like very inspiring because it's a big brand that goes in all big retail outlets, connecting the customer to the small fisherman. That's quite a feat. You really have the photo of the picture, the face of the one who caught your tuna on the can, and it's unchanged transparency. And they even have this cool feature. You have like interactive real-time fishing on their website. You can see who is fishing now for their brand. So that's with their faces. And there you go. So it's like really like the 1 minute, really fast, to have like maximum inspiration in little time. And then you give everybody a turn to explain what they found. This is a fun exercise, actually. Yeah. Very good. If that's clear, I want to continue to like say, well, the day is called sketching, so it's really about sketching, and I want to share my learnings there. If you do sprints and you know the book, there's this method. It's here. It's the picture from the book as well. And you have the 4-step sketch, as it's called, because it's the standard method where you have 4 steps to getting to your solution sketch. And the solution should be really your solution, your best solution to the challenge. You start with taking notes, and then you quickly draft some ideas, and then you do this crazy 8 exercise, which is really stressful. In 8 minutes, you have to come up with 8 different ideas. So 1 minute per idea. It's really crazy, and also a bit well, strange to do it offline. And then you make your solution sketch. What I recommend, this works really well. So even if you do your remote design sprints keep this method with the 4 steps. And it's a bit, well, the note taking is really easy because you have all your walls in your mural. And the ideas is also a really good one. But the Crazy 8, don't skip it. It really gives better results, and it puts people into like a creative, in a fast creative mode. So there are 2 ways to do it. For me, usually the sketching is homework because you cannot be online all the time. So what I do is I give this as homework, and that works. But some people feel a bit overwhelmed, and they say like they don't know what to do. And for them, I kind of offer a homework class. So like, it's homework, you can do it at your own, but please take all steps. And for that, I provide instructions. I make I put a PDF here. This really deep PDF I use in my remote sprints, like where I explain like what to use and what all the steps are. And still, then, if people are comfortable doing it on their own, I offer a homework class where we just go through these exercises online. I put some music. I say, well, now we start a note taking. We take 10 minutes, and then I say, let's now doodle. Go into the drawing mood. Already think of some solutions, and then do the Crazy 8. That's an exercise that really needs some help. And it really helps people, especially if they're non-designers, to get into the drawing mode and to really put in everything there. So whatever you do, keep on to this 4-step sketch method because it helps getting better results. Are there any questions there?
Yes. So do you give this whole exercise as homework, or do you start it off in the, well, as a group? Or?
No, I give, I plan for the day, and I, of course, plan for time for doing it. But I just say, now it's time to make your sketch, and you'll have like, I don't know, like 2 hours for it, or even when we were like in full lockdown, I also say it's homework for tomorrow, because it allows people to, mend their kids or whatever, have some flexibility in the schedule. Like, by tomorrow morning, your solution should be in. So it's homework to people, it works for their schedule.
Okay.
What's really important, though, is that you point to the challenge at hand and your long-term goal and your obstacles. People don't, run away and create something really nice, but that's just off what you try to solve. So, but if you set them well, it usually works. But I think maybe, I don't know, half or 30% of participants then want to, to have some help there, because they usually skip the Crazy 8s. They feel uncertain if their solution is, good enough. And that's something, Yolanda, that's something I always do. I play stupid, and I say, people, if you, before you, finish your sketch, send it to me, and I see if I understand what's on there.
Okay,
because the solutions you make, they should be self-explanatory, and say, if I don't understand it, probably the group doesn't. So, I'll review it, and then usually I say, could you add a title, or could you add some notes, what's going on in the screen, and that really helps. And then usually results are, well, really good as you are in the room. It's basically the same you do if you're facilitating in a room, right? So, but provide for it remotely.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And do you then give like a time frame for them to ask for help? Because I can imagine otherwise.
Well, when we were in lockdown, I ran some remote sprints, and then I was really lenient, and I just say, you know, just ping me on Slack if you need any help, and I'll be there. But yeah, it's whatever works for you.
Okay.
So the solution sketch should look like this. This is the example of, it's down here, right? It's the example of Cruchon, the Cybertruck, which is drawn there, and with really nice, simple drawings with some text to explain it. It's all fine. Then what's really important, what Jake Knapp advises is then take a photo and send your solution sketch to the facilitator. Well, that's fine, that works. What I usually do is take a photo, upload it to the mural, because what you ultimately want is like have a wall of all solution sketches. What you don't want is that people already start looking. So what I do then, I ask people, you know, have your solution sketch here and overlay it with a box like this, and then lock it or something. Of course, people can probably, you know, unlock it and peek. That's, well, if they really want to, they should. But then I work towards a gallery where everything is locked, and then only the next day, or when everybody's ready, you know, we lift the boxes and we go into the voting. Otherwise, people start diving in, and you want to kind of structure the critique round. So both works. So it's but the critique round is something that's part of the decision process. Something we'll discuss next week if you're interested. For me, this was kind of the first 2 days of the sprint, well, going really fast, but well, I put in everything I learned, so I hope it's good for you. If you have any questions, you can put them here in the questions box, and I'll try to answer them. Or anybody else for that matter. It's not just me, of course. So if you have any questions, put them here. I see there's one question. Do you do several separate mural templates for each team? Or it's still working if all teams work on the same mural template? Who put that in? But I always do separate templates for separate teams. Every sprint their own, well, instance of a template. You can't work with different teams in one template. And what I even do sometimes is split the templates per day, and then you know, take the highlights of the previous day, and of course the mural, it's in a room, everybody can open it, but then, you know, take the highlights and work from that into the new day. So it kind of emphasizes the decisions you made, like what's our long-term goal. It's one thing. It's not everything above that you decided not to go with. So you kind of take the essence of your last day and take it forward, and it makes the board a little bit lighter, which is better for people if they're on a slow connection, or if they don't have such a new PC, or sometimes it really helps having a smaller, lighter board. So that's all good. That's something you could try. I always run a sprint in a week. Oh.
Yeah, I asked that because yeah, you hear that it's 4 days are quite intense if they're online with Zoom. Because if you're if you're in a room, it's intense already. So yeah, I've heard other opinions saying, oh, it's better to run it over, just do mornings and run it over 2 weeks. But
I don't like that because the quality suffers from it usually, because other things slip in, and also you kind of have people kind of have the tendency to go back to previous decisions, like because they have all this new information. So it's really work intensely, reach a conclusion, and then go forward. But what I do, I make the schedule really lightweight. Like for instance, like making the mapping exercise. I pre-cook the map, so it saves like an hour of online Zooming. And then usually I run from 10 to 4 or something, with like at least 2-hour break in between.
Okay.
And every hour one break, so I keep the schedule really light. But rather I have it compressed to 1 week, reach a conclusion, and then maybe do another sprint if that's something. But yeah, if you spread it out, I don't know.
Yeah, you miss the moment, kind of thing.
Yeah, and also the sense of urgency is gone, and yeah. So I don't like it. But maybe it works for other people, but it's just I don't like it. Yeah.
And would you use Zoom breakout rooms for people to work together in pairs?
I did that once, and I didn't like it, because people then, it's like the coffee break in a real sprint. People are in the hallway chatting, not really delivering. And the power of this way of working is that there's no discussion. It's just creating and then group decision, creating group decision. Okay. So the breakout rooms it takes a lot of time, and not a lot of things happen in the breakout rooms. That's my experience, but I only did it once. And maybe it's what could work if you have like one facilitator in every breakout room, and I didn't do that. So that's maybe the learning there.
But then I guess the whole idea is work alone together, right? So if you're having breakout rooms, what would be your objective of using them? The purpose of using them? Because you need to keep a group quite small anyway to run a sprint.
Yeah. Well, like my last sprint, it was kind of an NGO setting. People were really insecure in making decisions or reaching conclusions by themselves. So they were really they were really blocked out by, no, I have to think this by myself. So then I said, okay. And then I didn't do Zoom breakout rooms, but I say you pair up and you come back with a conclusion answer on this in 20 minutes. And that worked. But I agree.
I guess I was thinking about the scenario you painted where you've got too many ideas and people need to pick the top 5. And then you suggested, if there are too many, then pair them and say, okay, together pick your top 5. So that's where I was kind of thinking that the breakout rooms, so you're still keeping them with you.
Yeah.
And I know that with breakout rooms, you can, as a facilitator, can pop in and check in on different rooms to make sure. But yes, I guess for the general stuff, it doesn't help because we, as you say, we need to be working together alone, right?
Can I give a perspective where it can work? Good morning, by the way.
Hey, Jeroen.
Where I've used breakout rooms is later in the process, to be very honest, but it's when you start doing the storyboarding. When you have, let's say, a group of 6, you can all work on the same board, and you task 2 people to work on a step in the storyboard and to enrich that. And that's a great moment to say, okay, now you break out in 3 groups of 2 and you work for half an hour on a storyboard, and then we come together here. So then it's like going to a corner of the room and sketch there together. So that's maybe in the whole process where you are delegating it to maybe duos as such, and that can work. But I agree with Aart. There's a big risk of distraction and rediscussing the process if you put people in a separate room.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, Aart, I have a question as well. Sorry for being late, and I couldn't find the link to the Mural board. But yeah, so I get these questions from clients quite often that they only have 4 hours, and they do want to do some kind of design sprint exercises. And what they want to end up with are like good ideas for like good solutions, good idea to solve their challenge. What would be your top pick of exercises for those 4 hours? And I can imagine well, I've tried, it's quite hard, but I'm just curious about your ideas about it.
So you go in a client meeting and they want to solve challenges.
Yeah, so basically they have this challenge. For example, they want to create more engagement with their customers.
Yeah.
Having a B2C service, and they want ideas or generate ideas or solutions for creating more engagement, which I believe is a typical question for it's a good design sprint question or a good design sprint challenge, but they only have 4 hours. Yeah, and I get this question quite often. So I'm just curious about what you...
I would do some more like what are possible solutions for it. Have a voting round which people find more attractive. Do some lightning demos, like, okay, who drives really good engagement? How do they do it? And then come up with some solutions. And the testing there it's not really user testing. You want to probably do with A/B testing or some quantitative data anyway. So, and then you can just go, start your experiments. But 4 hours is a bit tight. Well, maybe it's doable. Yeah.
Yeah. It is very tight, and especially with people who haven't done design sprints before, and especially not online. So those are two.
But rethink that, because online actually helps here, because you say we're online, we have different online etiquette, and it kind of already kills the group discussion. Imagine if this meetup was in a room, we would have much more discussions.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so basically you're saying doing expert interviews, create, how might we create a user journey map as well, or would you skip that?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
The user journey map?
No, I would skip it.
You skip it and then go straight to lightning demos and crazy eights and sketching.
Or bring the map, bring it to the table. Then it takes like 5 minutes. And like, this is basically what you do. And then you have it to fall back on. But then indeed do some lightning demos to to get inspiration, and then think of ideas and pick the best ones, and that's your endpoint. And then I think you can take then your experiments and run them, right?
Yeah, right, yeah. Cheers. Okay, thanks.
We can discuss it offline as well, Thijs, if you're interested.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cool. Okay. Anything else? Then, well, we run like 4 minutes over, which is okay. I mean, we did worse. I'd like to to ask you, like, spend maybe 2 more minutes and please give me some feedback. How do you like this meetup? Because I intend to run 2 other ones, discuss on the other days of the sprint. If you need to do things better, let's bring it on. So I have this square. How do you like this meetup? Please give me some feedback. And well, we try to have an even better one next week. How about it? And remember, you're anonymous, so you can put in whatever you want.
Yeah, so I don't have the link to the Mural board, but I just wanted to say thank you very much again and appreciate all the help.
No, but yeah, okay. Yeah. Because you were late, though the link was gone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was a little bit
I will,
late. Yeah.
What I'll do, I'll post it on the meetup page next time. So that's, of course. But same for you, maybe, Jeroen. You were not in the mural.
Yeah, I had to log in first and I was already late, but I watched the whole session in the screen sharing and I've put my comments in the chat so you can copy them from there in an anonymous way.
Yeah, maybe you can put the link in the chat next time. That could help for people who tend to be late, like myself. I'm sorry about that.
I will. I'll put it in. That's great.
Well, it was great, man. Thanks again.
Yeah, you're welcome. I like this. I like this session. So
thanks, Art. I'm gonna have to run. See
absolutely.
you soon.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Bye.
Should we call later on, Art? Just check in with
Yeah, we can do it right after. If we wrap up here, so maybe in I don't know, in 10 minutes or so, I'll give you a ring. Okay.
Cool, man. Ciao.
Ciao.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Art. It's it's cool. I've never done a design sprint online, so I have done a few workshops with Miro.
Yeah.
Not with Mural, but I have participated in workshops with Mural before. So
cool. So are you a facilitator yourself?
I do. I'm at the moment. Unfortunately, I was working for a startup and it's no longer existing. So I'm looking to see what I want to do. And so I did facilitate workshops when I was there. But I like the idea of doing more of this stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, I enjoy it. So
cool. Thank you. All right. Then Emilia, I'm curious to hear about you. Do you use sprints in any way, or what do you do?
Okay, trying to find a mute. No, I don't use. I read a book quite some years ago, but being a product manager, I always found it very useful. The idea, and I always wanted to see where can I apply it. In my work, there are small challenges. They're not really big, like strategic ways of applying it. However, I find it cool. So yeah, I never done it, but I wanted to hear it because. Never know when I see an opportunity for that. So
yeah, I hope it helps. This is cool.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'll see you next time.
Oh yeah, great. Next week. That's good.
Yes.
Cheers.
Okay. Bye. Cheers.
Good seeing you. Bye.
Yeah. Good to see you. Bye.